Captain Marvel is the 21st film within the gigantic MCU.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
And Carol Danvers is the first female superhero who gets to have her very own standalone film within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And while I recently talked about the 5 things that this film means for the future of the MCU in general, I will now give you a list of things that I kind of hated about this film. But first, a couple disclaimers. First of all, this is only my opinion, and it is absolutely okay to disagree with me. And last but not least, I would once again like to issue a spoiler warning. You have been warned.
Cool, man. No problem. No problem at all.
Ronan the Accuser. Guardians of the Galaxy first introduced the Kree into the MCU, an alien race that was represented by Ronan the Accuser.
I'm no family to Ronan.
And in case you didn't already know, I was not a huge fan of this character. Yes, he looked kinda badass, but that was about it.
What are you doing?
He seemed like a typical one-dimensional cartoon baddie and was one of the very few things that I did not like about the first Guardians film. But after the announcement of Captain Marvel, it became clear that both the Kree and Ronan would return to the big screen. This is why numerous fans were hoping for a second chance when it came to the Guardians villain. Unfortunately, Captain Marvel is a huge letdown in that department.
You're making me beat up grass!
Ronan has a screen time of approximately 5 minutes. He stands around, says some evil stuff, and that's it. He's basically the Captain Phasma of the MCU. Too strong. And since we already compared Captain Marvel to Star Wars, we're going to continue with another parallel between the two franchises. Many critics of the new Star Wars trilogy do not like the fact that Rey is just awesome at everything, without having any known weaknesses.
How did you do that?
I don't know.
Near the end of episode 7, she single-handedly beats a trained killer of the dark side of the Force.
You were unbalanced, bested by a girl who had never held a lightsaber.
Well, Captain Marvel puts even Rey to shame.
You're gonna pay for what you did.
From the start, she's already a perfect warrior with unbelievable abilities. She can even shoot energy out of her hands. Near the end of the film, she is able to fly and eventually turns into a Super Saiyan.
This is a Super Saiyan.
She is basically Superman without the kryptonite weakness. This is why every single confrontation with her seems boring to me. We never have to fear for our protagonist's life. In the final act of the film, she even destroys multiple Kree ships and bombs herself while laughing. To introduce a powerful character like that and have her fight Thanos seems like cheating. Up till now, all of our heroes have had arcs and developed throughout the past years. But even they were no match for the mighty Thanos. Should Captain Marvel suddenly appear out of nowhere and beat Thanos, a character that even Thor and the Hulk could not defeat, the last 20 films would kind of feel unappreciated. The origins of the Avengers. Chronologically speaking, Captain Marvel takes place before most of the films within the MCU. This is why it is very important to take the franchise's long history into account. Unfortunately, a lot of the continuity is either ignored or rewritten to fit with the new film's storytelling. Let's take the nickname S.H.I.E.L.D. for example. Apparently, everyone already knew about the nickname of this government agency back in the 90s. That's odd. After all, it was coined at the very end of the first Iron Man.
From the Strategic Homeland and
Just call us S.H.I.E.L.D.
Before that, Coulson used the very long and complicated description.
I'm Agent Phil Coulson with the Strategic Homeland Intervention Enforcement and Logistics Division.
That's quite a mouthful.
But what really enraged me was the fact that Captain Marvel now gives us the origin story of the term Avengers. The film ends with Nick Fury working on a secret project called the Protectors Initiative. All of a sudden, he stumbles upon an old Air Force photo of Carol Danvers and learns that her nickname used to be Avenger. And this is why he changes the name of his proposed initiative. Unnecessary origin stories like that always feel forced and cheesy. I once again have to draw similarities between Star Wars and this film. Last year, Solo, a Star Wars story, explained the origin story behind Han Solo's last name. And fans were not happy about it. Nick Fury's eye. Let's continue with Nick Fury. In the film, we get to meet a younger version of this fan-favorite character. And for those of you that paid attention during the last 10 years, there are certain things that are pivotal to this character. He's an agent who is even willing to abandon moral principles in order to save the world.
This isn't freedom. This is fear.
During a critical moment in his past, his eye was wounded, which is why we always see him sporting an iconic eye patch. In Captain America: The Winter Soldier, he mentioned that he lost his eye because he trusted someone who betrayed him.
Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
Well, Captain Marvel tells us a completely different story. It turns out he lost his eye when he tried to cuddle an alien cat that scratched him. Really? That is the big secret behind his wound? That's as if Charles Xavier slipped over a banana peel and that is why he ended up in a wheelchair. Where was she? Captain Marvel is, as mentioned before, hands down the strongest and mightiest character within the MCU. She can basically deal with every possible threat on her own, and that is exactly why she gives Nick Fury a pager that he can use to call her in the case of an emergency. It is that exact pager that can be seen in the post-credit sequence of Infinity War. But that leaves me with one question. Why didn't Nick Fury call her earlier? He knew her all these years and was able to contact her, yet he did not give a shit?
Ooh, you kiss your mother with that mouth?
When Loki attacked Earth with an alien army, Nick Fury's plan was to assemble a group of heroes who didn't even like each other at first?
Not a great plan.
When Ultron and his drones threatened to destroy the Earth, Nick Fury's plan was to give Tony the pep talk in a barn?
Not a great plan.
But now, after half of all life has been eradicated and Nick Fury himself is dying, he decides to call her? Tony, would you help me out again?
Not a great plan.
Thanks, man. There you have it. These were my problems with Captain Marvel. But now I gotta ask you, what did you think of the film? Let me know in the comment section below, and for more original content, check out these videos.